time for our guest now. Now, you will know her from Gogglebox and winning I'm a Celebrity. Today, she's here to talk about her beautiful son, Jude, who arrived a little earlier than expected, and why she actually looks back on that experience as a happy memory. Please welcome Scarlett Moffatt. Yes, because you haven't been on since we've had the big grand entrance.
That's amazing, that.
You like it?
That really
Thank you,
well.
thank you.
Did you like the big entrance?
I loved it. Yeah, I feel like I'm on X Factor. I'd be in the over 25s, wouldn't I? That's when we used to think that was like old.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, look at them old people living the dream.
Times,
yeah, humbling.
Look at us now, yeah. We say it
Yeah.
comes to you all. It comes to you all. Listen, so good to see you, and we know that there is a happy ending to this story. Your beautiful baby Jude, who's what, nearly one now?
Yeah, he's one.
He's one, and so
Walking
gorgeous.
around, his nickname's Wreck-It Ralph. He's just wonderful, yeah.
So all's good, OK?
Yes.
But very scary time for you.
Yeah, do you know what? I felt almost like a big head when I was pregnant because I had such a lovely pregnancy. I was wearing little bodycon dresses. I was glowing. I was like, this is fabulous. And then maybe he just likes to be punctual like his mum, or he heard that we were having a great time on the outside. He thought he would come 5 weeks early.
Yeah, scary.
Yeah, it was really
Where
scary.
were you? What happened?
So I'd actually been to see Heathers the musical. And, yeah. And on the way back, there was quite a lot of potholes. And I was like, oh, careful, Mum, like, I'm going to end up giving birth here. And then 4 hours later, Scott went, oh, have you wet the bed? And I was like, I have not wet the bed. And I was like, oh, no, like, what is happening? So we went straight to the hospital. And, yeah, like, it was just all a bit of a rush, and then had a C-section, which wasn't really...
Kind of emergency.
Yeah, planning for, and then, like, my mum was meant to be, like, with me, but then my midwife, who was amazing, Helen, like, she's just an angel from above.
Oh.
She stayed with me and held my hand while Scott got his little outfit on, and... Yeah, I held Jude for, honestly, what felt like 10 seconds, but it was probably a couple of minutes, and then he just got whisked away, and it was just so...
I always think when you hear that, I mean, fortunately, I never had that experience, but that moment when they just take the baby away and you're not entirely sure what's happening.
And you're a little bit sort of, you know, not with it, and, like, I remember just saying to Scott, please go with him, I don't want him on his own. And Scott was like, oh, I don't want to leave you. And I was like, please, like...
You'd lost a lot of blood, hadn't you?
Yeah, like, I nearly... Like, we were chatting. One of the things that I really didn't want, like, when you do your birth plan, was a blood transfusion. But I lost, like, yeah, like, I think it was, like, 1.5 litres of blood. So I was really woozy, and I was like, please go with him. And then he had, I think it's called hypoglycemia. He had, like, low blood sugars. He had jaundice, and... I was just, yeah, I sort of wheeled myself down to NICU, and Scott was like, what are you doing, woman? Get in bed. And I was like, I just want to see you. Like, you know, I've waited this whole time to have my little boy, and, like, it's just not how I imagined.
What did that do to you psychologically?
I think, for me, because I do suffer with anxiety, and one thing that helps my anxiety is being in control or feeling like I'm in control. And that...
just spiraled.
I was like, you know, and I remember... And this is why I just think, like, neonatal nurses are wonderful, because I remember having a bit of a wobbler one day, and he was having phototherapy treatment, so he couldn't wear any outfits. And I know it sounds silly, but I think it was more everything was getting on top of us, and I was like... you know, I had all these outfits for him, and he can't even wear clothes. He's just in nappies. And the nurse, Charlotte, came in, and she had this basket full of Premature knitted hats. And she was like, you might not be able to pick his outfit, but you can pick what colour hats. And I remember just taking ages, like, picking, like, which colours I wanted.
And those little things mean so much.
So much. Like, and I just feel like that's why I got involved with this campaign with Water Wipes. It's called the Pure Foundation Fund, and it helps thank the people that do this for us. Because also, I felt like, you know, these nurses are amazing, and then they let you go home and you go, well, thanks very much, bye. You know, and you're like, a big box of Quality Street isn't quite enough. I don't know how to say thank you.
And do you think sometimes partners get a bit forgotten? That everybody's rushing around the baby, and mum and the partner can often get lost.
And Durham Hospital was so lovely. Like, even... Like, I don't know what is in the tea and toast in hospital, it is next level. But they kept bringing, like, me and Scott tea and toast, and, like, even just asking how Scott was meant a lot because it felt like we were all in it together. But, it was...
How long before you went home?
So we stayed in for a week, but then we ended up going back a couple of times because of other things that were wrong with Jude. But he's all good now. And, you know, what could have been quite a scary time, I look back on that as just, like, a wonderful memory because of the staff. Yeah.
It's amazing.
I'm guessing you can't even now recognise your life before. It feels like that, doesn't it? Suddenly you have this baby, you're like, what happened to my life? It's just completely different now.
I just feel like I feel like I'm a full-time entertainer, first of all, which I love. But it's like, I feel like everything... Yeah, I taught him how to fake laugh. He looks like his dad, but he has my personality. But he's just like... It can be hard sometimes, can't it? Because I love being a mum, but then I felt like I was just mum, and I could feel myself around my friends talking about him all the time, and I was like, think of another topic, and it would somehow end up going about Jude, which is why I started getting into more hobbies for myself again, and I started dancing again.
You're looking good.
Thank you.
I know they say baby bores, that's what they say when you go on about your child, but you've been through so much, and how lucky to have him. But yes, your dancing is incredible.
Oh, thank you.
That's because of Chris McCausland, isn't it? Your mate.
Yeah, I mean, because I used to do ballroom and Latin dancing back in the day. I mean, I hadn't competed since I was 19. I'm 34 now. And Scott was like, go back dancing. Like, that's something that brings you so much joy. And I was like, oh, like, making excuses, really. I was like, oh, I'm a bit too old or I'm a bit too big for that. Then Chris got on Strictly.
Yeah.
And I messaged him and I was like, yeah, I'm going to put my big girl pants on. I think I could. Now, literally, I texted him, and then 4 weeks later, I competed.
I mean, he's doing so amazingly well, isn't he?
Well, he is such a good dancer, and Diane is such an amazing teacher. Like, the way he moves to the music and everything, and he just embodies the role of whatever dance he's doing. Like, oh, I'm so proud of him.
Listen, you had a good straight leg there. I mean, I'm no judge, but...
No, you.
That was a straight leg, I'm telling you.
What, let you down, wasn't it?
It was let me
Your
down.
bendy leg.
No, it's true. It's true. It's my bendy leg. Bendy leg. Anyway, I just want to say, if there's anything that we have discussed there has affected you, you know, we're talking about prematurity, and it is World Prematurity Month, isn't it, in November?